everybody. James with Rowe-Thrush. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Rowe-Thrush Solution Selling Show. Today, we will have Chad with ZSi and Hydra-Zorb on. Before we bring him on, though, who is Rowe-Thrush? We're a manufacturer rep agency. Why do we do this show? We do this show for the Grainger sales force. Basically, every Friday at 2 o'clock Central Time, we bring on a different supplier partner and we interview them live here on YouTube as well as on LinkedIn. So if you're catching this sometime in the future, join us on our next upcoming solution selling show. That way you could join in on the conversation, ask questions of that supplier, and it's a great way for you to be able to interact with us and with our suppliers. With that all said, I want to welcome Chad to the show. Welcome, Chad. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, James. How are you?
I'm doing well, too. Looking forward to the weekend. You and I were talking. You got a pool coming in here soon, so you'll be enjoying that, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very good. So before we get into ZSi-Foster and Hydra-Zorb, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How long have you been with ZSi? What is it that you do there? And maybe a little bit about your background.
Sure. Yeah, James, thanks for the opportunity to present today and for the opportunity to explain the background a little bit. I've been with ZSi-Foster for a little over 2 years in a national account role, Grainger being one of the major specific accounts under my authority. And prior to that, spent 13 years with Eaton in a division called Beeline. So very familiar with the types of products that ZSi offers, the clamps, insulated clamps, and we're also getting big into the strut channel, unistrut channel, and fittings world, which is something I'm very familiar with as well.
Awesome. So you got a lot of experience behind you. So that's great. You're with a great company. Always loved walking over to the ZSi booth at the Grainger show and working with Tom and everybody else. You got a great team behind you there. So.
Yeah.
One other question that I like to ask everybody that comes on, the question of this season is, what is your favorite band or favorite album and why?
Oh, man. Just off the cuff, I'd probably go Tom Petty.
Tom Petty? Nice. Yeah. You're the second one to say Tom Petty this year.
Yeah. I might be able to come up with another favorite, but just on the spot, that's where I'll go.
Very good. Well, you can't go wrong with Tom Petty. What's your favorite album or song of his?
Probably Free Fallin'.
Free Fallin', yeah, great song. I've watched I remember watching the music video on MTV many times in my youth, back when they actually played music videos. Can't really say they do that too much anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. On my way home today, I'm going to listen to some Tom Petty. So thank you for the music recommendation. And with that all said, why don't we get into ZSi? Tell us a little bit about ZSi, who they are, what types of products they manufacture. Sorry.
Yep. So ZSi themselves, we kind of fashion ourselves as the leader in insulated pipe clamps. And vibra clamps. So anything that requires, like I mentioned before, insulation, your water pipes, your chill pipes, anything like that, we've got the support that you can mount to unistrut or beam clamp or any type of surface. We've got multiple solutions that work for you. ZSi is now part of an overall group called the Ideal-Tridon Support Group, excuse me. And in that group, we also have Hydra-Zorb now, who was another leader in that space. And we also own 3 strut companies called Wesanco, located in Southern California, Florida Strut in Northern Florida, and Versabar on the Northeast. So we like to say that we own about 85% of the market share for insulated clamps and about 5% of the strut channel market share. But as far as industry know-how and experience in the strut world, we have more than anyone. So we are up and comer in that space as well. But that's a brief background of the company as a whole. The products you're seeing on the screen right now kind of tell the story as well. Most of our clamps there on that first line, your cushion clamps in the top left there. We have multiple different options for cushion clamps, or sometimes called vibra clamps. We have high temperature cushions now that get up to extreme temperatures for your data center applications and other refrigeration applications. And also cushions that can be retrofitted, can be attached to the line without having to remove all clamps in the line, which is a big deal right now for retrofit applications. And then we've just got a number of different options that, like I said, help support pipe to strut or wall surfaces.
Great. Thank you for going through that overview. And for everybody watching, he mentioned all the different brands. So what's available through Grainger currently is ZSi-Foster and Hydra-Zorb. All those other brands, Florida Strut, Wesanco, Ideal, all of that, you would have to go through Grainger sourcing in order to obtain. So again, thank you for going through all of that. Now, when it comes to these types of products, what are they meant to clamp? I'm just trying to think about somebody that might be watching this and they're like, okay, clamps and support systems, what are they used for?
Yep. I mean, the most popular application is obviously anything that has water running through it, anything that's going to expand and contract. Is what we're focused on supporting. Anything that needs to be insulated because of the temperature of the water in the pipe. And then even just, we have a lot of electricians that buy our cushion clamps or vibra clamps just for vibration purposes. So those are the main applications.
Okay, so electrical and plumbing are the main aspects there. Now, the types of customers that would be interested in using these products that have a lot of plumbing, a lot of electrical, that would need these products, even the specialty type ones. Can you get into that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, this just shows the wide array of everybody that's going to use our products, right? So, for example, agriculture would probably only use our beta clamps. These are clamps that are designed for heavy vibration, outdoor applications. HVAC is a major market for us in all products, along with refrigeration. We are definitely targeting that market with our entire line, whether that be clamp, strut, rooftop blocks, anything around that. Solar, there are some clamps used there. That's more strut and strut fittings. Hydraulic fluid power is another heavy vibration application. Same thing with shipbuilding. Plumbing mechanical is a sweet spot for all of our products. Oil and gas, we have a extensive line of stainless fiberglass products that fit into that space. Pneumatic is another one for the heavy duty car wash. I mentioned stainless just a minute ago, but all our cushion clamps, we offer an extensive line of stainless 304 and 316 clamps that really it's the greatest breadth in the industry of cushion clamps or vibra clamps for car washes for stainless. And then electrical is another sweet spot where all our products will fit into. Semiconductors, the same thing, and then machine building is another heavy vibration application.
Excellent. Now, when it comes to customer business issues, or CBIs, as Grainger likes to call them, what types of issues do your products help solve?
The biggest one that I know is always on the radar of contractors is time savings, labor savings, ease of use, that type of stuff. Our products are focused around that as much as possible in everything that we design.
Great. Yeah, labor savings, productivity, cost savings. Those are all great CBIs to help target. Now, do you have any products that you actually have any documented value as far as how much money it can help save your Grainger customers?
Yeah, the several products do meet that. The key one I want to highlight today is our new Strut Serpent clamp. So this is actually a replacement for a standard strut clamp. Our parent company, Ideal-Tridon, is the world leader in worm gear clamps, or sometimes they're called hose clamps. You'll see a lot in the automotive world. We've basically taken that technology and turned it into a strut clamp with feet on it that lock into the strut, the channel on the top of the strut. This product we think is about 60% stronger, or excuse me, 60% faster in a traditional trapeze environment where you have multiple runs of conduit on a stick of strut. It simply slides in on one side of the strut, and then a simple zip with your gun, and you're done. As opposed to trying to fumble with two pieces of strut clamps, it's just a much easier, quicker design. Right now we have a stainless option only, but it's priced comparative to zinc options that are out in the market. So that's available from 1/2 inch to 2 inch, and we are in good stocking position on all sizes currently.
Awesome. And, you mentioned your automotive and everything with Ideal. I used to be an automotive mechanic way back in the day. I'm actually celebrating 15 years here at Rowe-Thrush now. Before that, for 11 years, I was an ASC Master Certified Technician. So very familiar with worm gear style hose clamps. Used your particular products, almost daily. So, and something I got to say too, whoever comes up with these names, Cushionator, Snap a Saddle, Strut Serpent, you guys, you do such a great job with your marketing and your names that you come up with. So really cool stuff there. Now, they do have a video that gets into how you can calculate the dollar savings and whatnot. It is on YouTube. And if you're watching this video on YouTube sometime in the future, I'll include a link like right about now up in the upper right corner. You'll see a little box that will tie in that video about the Strut Serpent. So that way you could learn more about it and about how it could help save your customers some money.
Yeah, and one thing I forgot to add, James, is I know we talked about it, but that's one of the SKUs that was recently added to Grainger. So it hasn't been available for very long, in general in our entire market, but for Grainger, it's brand new. So
very good. Yeah. So we don't have the SKUs to provide to you now, but you could always reach out to myself or Chad, and we'll get that information to you. At the end of the interview, we'll pop up our contact info. That way you can reach out to us.
Yep.
So why don't we get into some of the key overview of the insulated pipe support systems that you guys make?
Yeah, we've touched on this a little bit already, but as far as clamps, the reasons you see listed there are why people are using cushion clamps or insulated clamps. We've got a lot of different options in this space, depending on what you support to. Most of them go into unistrut, but if you see the clamp there in the middle, the U-bolt clamp, that clamps directly into an existing anchor in the ceiling. We've got some that are wall mount surface only that would mount into, whether it be the ceiling or the wall or any other kind of flat mount surface. So that's really what drives the different types of clamps. One of our hottest sellers right now is that first one listed there or that picture there, excuse me, in the top left. That's called a Cushatherm. And what that is a Armacell insert. Um, that's a foam insert there that actually wraps around the pipe at your connection point, and it's got a insert in there that will keep your pipe from crushing as you tighten down the clamp, and it's the best vapor barrier seal in the industry. So we'll bag the clamp with the insert all in one, and it's an extremely broad line. It can fit all the way from 1/2 inch to 2 inch insulation. There's a lot of products or a lot of options out there that do not fit 2 inch insulation, and it's becoming more and more common in our industry. This product does accommodate 2 inch insulation. It's also available in stainless. The next product next to there is the Cushionator, and I already highlighted that one. Um, the nice thing about that product is it's retrofittable. You can put it on after the fact if you're just changing out one section of your line. And it's got the option. It's got a standard cushion, but it's also got the option for high temp. So a lot of your chillers and stuff like that are being designed at higher temperatures ranges today. So the water that's running through the line is a higher temp. These will accommodate those new kind of applications. Um, so that's a couple highlighted areas there. We also get into on the bottom, we get into plastic shields. Most of your grocery store applications today with all their freezers, the lines are held up by plastic shields onto strut. We have a number of different options there that can accommodate that. And then the last product on that sheet right there in the bottom left is a rooftop block. We call ours a Cusha block. We have a very good product in that space. It's made out of recycled tires. Um, it's extremely sturdy. It's a rubber surface. It's a rubber material, so it obviously mates well to the roof surface. Those are used on the roof for piping. All pipes are required to be 4 to 6 inches off the surface of the roof, so that accommodates that. It's got hardware already pre-inset into the block, so you can simply screw your rod right to the block. You don't have to drill an additional hole. Most people will order it with the strut already installed, so that process is very easily done as well. And it's very cost competitive. Our price with Grainger on that product is extremely cost competitive. So that's one to keep in mind. There's a regular version which is 10 inches long, and then we also have a 6-inch version as well on that product.
Great. And getting into different types of clamping systems, some of these you've already kind of talked about, so maybe skip over those and talk about some other ones.
Yeah, I kind of touched on most of these. One thing I didn't touch on yet on the bottom of your screen there, we've got a couple plastic options. So the bottom left there is called our Cusha Claw. We actually manufacture that product in Michigan. We mold it ourselves, so we're very flexible on the cost side of things. But anything from 1/2 inch to 2 inch copper or EMT, that thing just simply twists into Unistrut, and you just push your pipe down in and it locks in. So it's a really quick labor savings install that's very cost effective. The Porsa clamp next to that is for electric cables. So it's just a support that works just like piping would at your connections for Porsa, for electrical cables. The one next to that is similar to our Cusha Claw, but we purchased that item. The nice thing about that item is it will fit. There's a version that will fit all thread rod, so you just slide it on sideways to the all thread rod and twist, and it locks on. And then our Cusha grips to the right there have a little bit stronger hold than the others and have a bolt in them. But our Cusha Claw is a much more popular item. So a lot of different ways to, like I've said before, handle similar applications.
Yeah, and the underlying message too with all of this is it's quicker and easier to install than some of the other competitors out there. So if you want to help save time with your customers, increase productivity, ZSi has a lot of the clamps that your customers are looking for?
We've got several different type of loop products, basically single clamp points that are quick installs. The one on the top right there simply installs onto all thread at the top there with the Neuro nut, and then your pipe is simply placed in the cushion there and then brought up and secured. So very quick install. The bottom center there, that's our cushion strip. So what that allows you to do is if you have a clamp in the field and you don't know the size of your insert, you can simply cut that to length, wrap it around your pipe, and clamp, and it acts as the vibra clamp. So it gives you a little flexibility in the field. That comes in a 10-foot roll. And then the clamp next to that is our beta clamp. You guys heard me mention that we're designed for several high vibration applications. So those beta clamps are used in a lot of agriculture, heavy equipment applications where there's a lot of vibration. And then we do have spring steel fasteners. Those are in the bottom right there. So several SKUs that fit into that product category. Those are used in commercial for light duty for electrical boxes or in the ceiling for hanging electrical cable. We have a limited line in that space, but it is cost competitive.
Insulated clamping.
Yeah, one product I haven't touched on in this space yet is our closure clamps, which was a Hydra-Zorb product. This is a highly specified product that is the quickest install in the industry. So it's that bottom middle clamp. It's very recognized with HVAC, refrigeration, plumbing, mechanical contractors. It's the leading insulated clamp in the industry. It works with elastomeric insulation as well as fiberglass. It's an extremely broad line product. It's a plastic insert, meets all specifications. The only downfall to that product, I mentioned our Cushiotherm, which is in that top left corner. It does not have the vapor barrier. It will not meet as high a vapor barrier as the Cushiotherm will, simply because that is more of a foam insert. It has a tighter, secure fit, and the Cushiotherm, or excuse me, the closure is simply a plastic insert that you butt up to.
Now, with the closure, I don't believe that item is loaded into Grainger. It may be it might be a hidden SKU where it's in an R4 status, but I don't believe it's in the system. All the stuff that is Hydra-Zorb branded is kind of like Snap-a-Saddle type products. So with that said, that's something that we'll have to work with you on as far as proposing some closure products into Grainger, because with you saying these are some of the top selling items, we should really work on proposing to add that into the system. But in the meantime, you could reach out to us. We'll let you know if it is in R4 status or if you would have to go through Grainger sourcing for that.
Yeah, that's a good point to bring up, James. We did add some Hydra-Zorb products. You got to realize Hydra-Zorb was only purchased by ZSi 2 years ago. So we're in the process of kind of bringing that into the fold of the overall portfolio. We added Bronco saddles, for example, which in the bottom left there, that's a Snap-a-Saddle Pro. Bronco saddles were made by Hydra-Zorb. It's a little better product for us as a company. So those were added this year. We will continue to add more products, and closure is definitely one of those things that's on the radar.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So applications for clamping and support systems.
Yeah, we've touched on most of these already. The bottom left's a good example there of what I talked about with a grocery store where you got multiple lines of insulated pipe. You can see there that the fact that you can just slap that saddle down onto the strut, it's a very quick labor friendly approach. and it keeps that pipe from the high sides on that saddle keep that pipe from jumping out. Typically, they're zip tied in as well. But that's a good indication right there of exactly what you'll see in most grocery stores if you look up when you're shopping. So.
Yeah, your YouTube video of the Snap-A-Saddle, Cushionator, the rooftop, the blocks, those products. Those are some of the favorite videos that I like to share with the Grainger sales force, because you have that little timer at the bottom and them showing the difference of installing the leading competitor's product versus the Snap-A-Saddle, and the amount of time that it saves. It's just tremendous. So great resources there, which, speaking of which, if you scan the QR code below, that will take you to Grainger.com, and everything ZSi has, everything Foster has in Grainger, as well as Hydra-Zorb, the ZSi-Foster website, and their YouTube channel. So make sure you utilize that resource and scan the QR code down below. All right, speaking of rooftops.
Yeah, we touched on this one a little bit. This one kind of shows the full breadth of our offering. Top left is our standard rooftop block. That's the most common. But we do have the ability to group them together on Strut, which helps you load rating. And also, obviously, if you have multiple pipes or wider applications, we can group blocks together as wide as, I think we've done 6 together before. But you'll see 4 together, quite common. And then, it obviously gets to smaller applications like the mini blocks. The big thing there is it does have the pre-installed hardware, so you can screw that all thread with the clamp there that you see right to the block. It's much quicker. It's lower cost because you don't have to buy the strut to mount the all thread to, or you don't have to drill through the block. So that's a big advantage on that mini block right there. But we can put rollers on it. We can engineer H stands based on the application. We have an engineering team that can provide load calcs if necessary. Even go up to rooftop walkways. The other thing that's not pictured here that is fairly new, we have a biggie block, so a 12 by 12 block that recently came out as well. That is part of the overall portfolio as well.
And I've been wondering where my football went, and now I know. I see it right over there.
Yep. Yeah, we always try to highlight that there's always been a lot of ways that people have used just to get that 6 inches off the roof, and even footballs have been used. Yes.
All right, getting into Wesanco. This is a good one here when it comes to Strut. So these products, they basically go hand in hand together. So when ZSi purchased Wesanco, it was like, wow, this is a perfect marriage right here.
Yeah, I mentioned before that this is a major growth focus for us. The Strut channel, Strut fittings, Strut accessories, all thread rod, beam clamps, anything in that space is a major growth engine for us. We have a facility in Southern California called Wesanco that we roll Strut in. We've recently added Strut capacity there. So we're growing immensely in that space. We're adding a full roller mill at our corporate headquarters in Smyrna, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville. That should be ready first part of next month. And like I mentioned, we have mills in northern Florida and in the Northeast. So this is an area that we are definitely focused on growing with. We will be cost competitive. We will have stock in every region of the country if we don't already. But it includes obviously the standard material finish for Strut channel Strut fittings would be pre-galv. So we would have that complete line. The 2 things that Wesanco has always been focused on as a smaller strut manufacturer, one is stainless. So they have a broad offering in stainless 304 fittings and strut channel. And then the other thing is cut to link strut. So a lot of your OEMs, for example, would prefer to buy cut to link strut based on the application. They don't want to cut it in the field. They don't want to deal with the waste, all that kind of stuff. So we actually stock a lot of cut increments, your 12-inch, 24, 36, 48, and we will do cut to length in basically any type of finish as well. So that's a major niche that we do well in at that space. And then the third one, I think I only said two, but there's actually three. We do very well with wall brackets, utility brackets, which are pictured down there in the bottom left. We move a lot of those products. So.
Great. And now with the stainless steel, what are some applications that could be used? And I'm assuming food and beverage, pharmaceutical. You mentioned earlier car washes, things like that. Are there any other areas too, or just those?
Yeah, obviously any kind of brackets you're doing outdoors. Stainless is a great application for anything outdoors. But you mentioned most of the other ones. Anytime you're going to get any kind of condensation near the strut, anything in the Gulf with your salt spray is always a big application for stainless.
Great. So you kind of covered all of this already. Anything else before we switch to the next one?
The only other thing is I touched on the fittings a little bit, but didn't really get into them. We have a full line of strut fittings, all finishes, all materials. So.
Oh, okay, great. And now, when it comes to Wesanco too, again, I said it earlier, but in case you're jumping into this later on, all of the Wesanco products you would have to go through Grainger sourcing for. Look up the product that you're interested in. If you want more information about Wesanco or anything that we've covered here today, again, we'll be popping up my contact info as well as Chad's here momentarily. So make sure to be ready to write that all down. That way you can, reach out to us to ask us for that type of information. With that all said, do you have any other special announcements or anything like that you want to talk about and let us all know?
I think I already touched on the announcement I wanted to let you guys know, but it's around strut capacity. We are adding a significant amount of strut capacity in multiple regions of the country. That's the big focus for us right now as a company.
Okay, great. And any upcoming trade shows that you guys are going to that any Grainger account manager or Grainger personnel or Grainger customer might be going to where they could swing by your booth to learn more about your products and solutions?
Yeah, we will have booths at the upcoming NECA show, at the upcoming STAFTA show, and probably the most pertinent one is the upcoming AHR show I believe it's in Chicago in January. So don't have the booth numbers yet for any of those, but we will certainly be at all three of those.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. So stop by. Will you be in any of those booths at all for any of those shows, Chad?
I think I get to go to all three.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, there you go. Stop by and say, "Hey, Chad, I saw you on the Solution Selling Show, and just wanted to say hi," or "Hey, tell me a little bit more about this or that," or "I have this type of application. What can help me?" So make sure you stop by and say hi to them.
Yes, I saw several from Grainger at last year's AHR show, so looking forward to this year.
Perfect. Perfect. So with that all said, do you have any final words, anything that you want to share with everybody before we wrap things up?
I just want to reiterate that we want to be the leader in the insulated clamp space for you guys, in the vibration clamp space. So any needs you have in that space, there's always new applications poking up. We're seeing a lot of new applications in the new chip plants, for example, that are coming over from Taiwan for those types of products. So we're all ears on that type of stuff. Would love to find solutions. If we don't already have them, create solutions that you need.
Great. Now, real quick, just a quick plug-in for our next show. So next Friday, July 21st, we will have ETI, which is a LED lighting manufacturer. They're one of our newer suppliers that we acquired recently. They have products already in Granger, and we'll be getting into the world of LED lighting. So if you're watching this sometime in the near future, hopefully you have time to join us while we're live. And again, great way for you to be able to interact with the supplier, to learn more and ask questions with them. With that all said, Chad, thank you so much for taking some time out of your Friday afternoon to join our show. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you, James, for the opportunity.
Great. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.